Well, it is a new gig for an old hand at higher education in North Carolina. Peter Hans has been elected unanimously by the UNC Board of Governors to serve as the new president of the UNC System. Hans will leave his job as president of the state community college system to take the new opportunity. So what should we expect? For that, we turn to Jenna Robinson. Jenna is president of the Martin Center for Academic Renewal. That organization monitors and researches higher education policy in North Carolina. Jenna, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be here, Donna.
So how would you describe Peter Hans?
Peter is knowledgeable, personable, experienced. As you said, he's an old hand. He's been around higher education circles for a very long time. And, he knows the players and he knows the policies that are important.
What attracted the Board of Governors to him? Now, obviously, those are positive characteristics you
Right.
just mentioned, but certainly the UNC system was doing a nationwide search. Presumably, a lot of very talented, experienced people
Right.
would have wanted this type of job. So what was special about Peter Hans?
I think that what stands out to me about Peter is that he is a very easy person to work with. Not to say that he'll just go along with whatever, but that I think they're looking for a more harmonious relationship over at UNC. Things have been very tumultuous. People have, there have been animosities, and I think that Peter is the right person in this situation to deal with that. He has a way of talking to people and engaging in discussion and discourse that I think is going to be a very valuable skill going forward.
He's actually served on the Board of Governors.
He was board chair for a long time, and he was board chair when most of the other people on the board were in fact Democrats. And so he has dealt with what could have been a discordant situation in the past. And in my memory, at least, it was pretty harmonious when Peter was board chair.
You mentioned that the Board of Governors has been going through a tumultuous time. They've had several people leave the board. Jenna, is it fair to say that what has occurred is really a function of new blood on the Board of Governors that didn't want to just be a rubber stamp? Or have we actually had some people who just didn't want to get along and function as a board member?
I think it was mostly what you said at first. New blood on the Board of Governors that want to exercise their oversight in a meaningful way. And that hasn't been kind of characteristic of the board for a very long time. They have been a rubber stamp. But I think that what else has happened is they've had to deal with some very, very contentious issues. Silent Sam at UNC comes to my mind immediately. I mean, that issue is fraught. It's sensitive. People are in kind of heightened states of emotion over that issue. And so I think that lent itself to discord.
Tell us about Peter's accomplishments at the community college system, which he will leave as the CEO there to take the gig at the UNC system.
So Peter at the community college system has had to deal with some similar issues that he'll see at UNC. One of those is the very different nature or the varied nature of the different community colleges. There has been, there's a wide variety of quality in our community college system, of the students that they attract, of the problems that community college contend with, and having to deal with that diversity of institutions, I think will be very good experience going into UNC. And also having to deal with what does success look like. For the community college, that's something that's hard to really wrap your hands around because community college students are coming in for a variety of reasons. But defining success and measuring it and moving towards a measure of success for students is something that he worked on at the community colleges. And again, that's part of the strategic plan for UNC, and he'll see that again.
Many different diverse campuses in the UNC system. There are more campuses in the community college system, right, but very different organizations in the UNC system. How is he going to reach out to all of them and essentially say, look, I understand your unique characteristics and I want to work with you?
I mean, I think he can, in this one instance, take a page out of Margaret Spelling's book, and that is to go to each one in person. I don't know with COVID how easy that's going to be to do right now. Maybe he'll do it via Zoom.
And she's the former president of the system.
Right, exactly. But I think going to campuses, talking with those chancellors, which he knows most of them already. So he starts from a better position than some past presidents in that he knows the system, he knows its characteristics already. But working with them to set the individual metrics for how they achieve the strategic plan that the system as a whole is looking towards. And I think that having a set of diverse institutions, although it's, maybe harder to handle, is, better for the state because different universities can excel in different things and they don't have to all be, cookie cutter universities that all offer exactly the same thing.
Well, speaking of metrics and achievement, he has a very interesting compensation package. Carolina Journal reporting that he's going to make a base salary of $400,000 a year, but he has the potential to earn up to $600,000 additional dollars per year based on this incentive plan that seems to be built around several key metrics. Tell us about those.
So the very first metric is graduation rates, and that's kind of the aerial view of what it is. The individual metrics are going to be set with the Board of Governors. So what that looks like when they're looking at whether he's meeting his goals hasn't been set yet. So we don't know whether it's going to be an increase in graduation rates across the board or meeting it in certain areas. That is still up in the air. They are going to concentrate on transfer students and first-year students, where, again, I think he'll have an advantage coming from the community college system, knowing what those transfers look like. But I think that's one that, we know the broad terms, but we don't know the details yet. The other thing that they're going to be looking at is education and related spending, spending per degree, how to get that down. And he's mentioned that the community college system knows how to stretch a dollar, and he wants to apply that to the UNC system.
Also, he's going to be evaluated on issues of student loan debt. Tell us about that.
I think that, that's one where I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to affect that. Graduation rates are the major determinant of whether a student can actually pay back their loans. But how much they borrow is in large part something that he can't control a lot of those variables. So that'll be interesting to watch.
I was so glad that you've mentioned that, because when I saw that listed as well as one of the goals that he was going to have, I thought, how the heck do you actually go into an individual student's personal circumstances as to how they view borrowing, how much money that they or their parents have saved or earned towards college, etc.
The only piece he can really affect is, do they keep tuition low? All of the other parts are out of his control. So that'll be interesting to watch.
As we look forward to his tenure, Jenna, tell us a little bit about the UNC system today. How would you evaluate it in terms of its challenges?
I think the biggest challenge is COVID. What will universities look like in the fall in terms of revenue and in terms of logistics? And I think that those two both of those challenges are going to be ones we have to watch and that Peter is going to have to take on.